Good evening, everyone. Sorry about that. I just had some technical difficulties. How is everybody doing on this Sunday night? Long time no see, everybody. Sorry I haven't gone live. When I go live, I like to, I want to find a reason to go live, right? So, I found the reason to go live, and I feel like it's kind of worth talking about because why not? It's basically going to be about Cashman's comments on Jasson Dominguez, and as Dominguez is going to start the season in at the minors at AAA, so for everyday reps. But before we get into all of that, shout out to the folks in the chat. Make sure you all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're new, share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. Let's continue growing this channel. The goal for this year is to try and get to 3,000 subs. I would love to get there during the 2026 Major League Baseball season, and we are not far off of the regular season starting here, folks. We are about 40 days out, 40 days away from opening day. Can you believe it? Baseball season is right around the corner here, folks. And, I've been very excited for over the last week because, baseball season's right around the corner. And, we got spring training going on right now. Pitchers and catchers have reported they're getting their reps in. I'm excited seeing all the videos. It's exciting, just seeing the new guys on the team. Positional players are reporting now. So slowly but surely, the whole squad's getting together. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the spring training games. I'm going to try and call some of the spring training games. But I am excited, man. I am excited. I'm excited that baseball is back. The activities are back, and players are they're here. They're in Tampa. It's that time. It's that time, folks. But let me say what's up to the chat real quick. Let's see who we got in the building. John the Beagle Dad, first person in the building. What is going on? Joseph, how's it going, Joseph? Daniel Barry, shout out to you, man. Thanks for being a member for 9 months. You are the man. Thanks for the big support. My man, Jason from 161 River Ave. What's up, dude? What's going on, dude? How are you, bro? I know you, Jason. I honestly, like, me and him, we talk often, right? Away from the live streams. So Jason and I stay in touch quite a bit. If you guys are not subscribed to the 161 River Avenue, make sure you subscribe. He knows his stuff. And we got Sawdust in the building. What is up? How are you? Sammy Stevens is in the building. What is going on? And folks, do me a favor. Go vote in the poll. All right, go vote in the poll. Let me know if you all think that Dominguez should start in the minors or not. Let me know what you all are thinking. So far, looks like I got 8 votes, and the majority of you have said yes. We got Bill O in the building. What's up, Bill? Long time no see. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're getting excited for baseball season right around the corner. Jason, I appreciate you. You're my guy, dude. You're my guy, man. But look, Cruise Control. What's up, Cruise Control? How's it going? I know there's probably a lot of upset fans right now with Dominguez, starting the season at AAA, right? At AAA. So, I get it. I understand, right? But the way the team is constructed right now, the way the team is right now, I think it only makes sense that Dominguez starts the season off in AAA. He'll get more playing time. He'll get everyday reps. I think it's in his best interest, right? I think he knows this too. And the fact of the matter is, he acknowledged the fact that he needs to get better defensively, right? And during the offseason, he did play some winter ball, and he wasn't so hot. He wasn't so hot, unfortunately. But sometimes that's just the name of the game. And shout out to Jacob Frederick being a member for 9 months. What's up, Jacob? How's it going? what is going on. But let's kind of go back a little bit, folks. Let's kind of go back a little bit. All right. Dominguez has been with the Yankees organization for a long time, right? He's been with the organization a long time, right? And he was a big deal. He's a big name amongst the fans, amongst the organization. We know this. And obviously there's been a little bit of a delay in his progress when you go back to 2020 because of the pandemic. Obviously there was no baseball, so it did, his progression did slide back a little bit, right? So he had to wait a little bit longer, right? He was then after the COVID year, he started to shine, right? He started playing really well in the minors. You were starting to hear his name a little bit. 2023, his name was starting to, get mentioned more and more. It got fans excited, especially with, him being nicknamed the Martian. I think that also, gave fans some excitement. I know he was being compared to some of the older players that were on the Yankees, but I always hold back on comments like that because truthfully, we don't know how players are going to turn out. And I always say I want players to be the best version of themselves instead of trying to be like somebody else. You see what I'm saying? But look, he came up in 2023, right? And in a short sample size, he impressed, right? He looked really good. His at bats were brought some excitement. And he hit a home run off of Justin Verlander. Everybody remembers that, and his family was there. Everybody was excited. We were all excited for him, right? And 2023 again, in that short sample size, he looked good, right? He looked good. I know as a fan base, we were hoping that he was going to be the guy that was going to be on the roster come opening day on 2024. Right. And, obviously it wasn't the case. He had some delays. He had some, unfortunately he suffered from Tommy John, right? He had to get Tommy John surgery. He got hurt that season. Right. And real quick, shout out to Ken. Ken's in the building. What's up, Ken? How's it going? What is going on? But like I was saying, Dominguez got hurt. He had to get Tommy John surgery. So there was a bit of a setback for him. And eventually he did start playing in the minors again, right? And, he wasn't playing in the outfield, but he was getting his at-bats as a DH, right? As he was a designated hitter for a little while there. And then, had another setback, right? He had an oblique injury. So he suffered from another injury. And, for me personally, that's when I was starting to worry a little bit about Dominguez, whether or not he can stay healthy. I think he has the potential, right? I want folks to understand I have nothing against Dominguez. I want Dominguez to get every opportunity he could possibly get. For me, it's just I'd rather not him, ride the bench. I'd rather him be playing every day. And I think he absolutely needs to be playing every day, but not ride the bench. So, again, like I was saying, I think him starting off in the minor leagues, I think is a good idea. But, again, he had a couple of injuries, again, going back, he had a couple of injuries and he had another setback. Right. So he had to work him. He had to work his way back up to, to normal playing time. Right. And in 2024, he did get called up a couple of times, to when they had, if there was an injury or if they needed to add an extra player to the roster, right. A 26 man, they added him. Right. Again, it's not like he did anything great, but I'm not saying he was bad. I mean, he just needed more of that consistent playing time. And I also remember when the roster was expanded, right? Well, in September, when the roster was expanded, and there was a lot of fans that were pissed off, right? They were angry at the fact that this guy was not called up. And I remember a lot of folks went live and they started to wonder, why would the organization not call this player up? Like, why would they do this to him? They're doing him a disservice. To me, it was just like they were treating this as if, Dominguez was going to be a big difference maker on the team, right? In 2024. And what I recall from a lot of fans is that, Dominguez, was going to be the savior, right? Even though it was discussed heavily amongst a lot of the fan base that the 2024 New York Yankees they still had a lot of holes on the team, right? This is what we were being told. Even though the 2024 New York Yankees was an exciting team, especially with Juan Soto there, the team still had holes, right? The New York Yankees had holes on their team. They had holes on their roster, right? So my thing was this: Dominguez is one player, right? Dominguez is one player who would address potentially one hole. And how do you fill all the other holes? You know what I mean? Like this is something I wanted to ask people is, if he's one player that could fulfill one hole, he could contribute to the team. But what about all the other holes that the team had at that time? Right. And, he's not going to be able to address multiple holes. He's only going to be able to address one hole. Right. And in order for a team to be successful, I mean, the whole team needs to play well together on both sides of the ball, whether on the pitching side and with the bats. Right. And, defensively, they have to also do their job too, which, if I recall, 2024 was a defensive disaster for the Yankees, unfortunately. Right. It was defensively, it wasn't the best. There was also that. Now, kind of going back to the whole injury thing, Dominguez probably would have been, he could have possibly been on the roster for opening day, whether it's as a fourth outfielder, or he would have been competing against guys like Grisham at the time. Because remember, Grisham was traded to the Yankees with Juan Soto, right? So during the offseason. But you also got to remember the Yankees had traded for Alex Verdugo too. So I'm sure a lot of folks probably remember that too. The Yankees, they needed an outfielder, right? They needed to get a couple of bats. Outfielder or Verdugo was one of them, right? And obviously Juan Soto was the other guy. That was the big trade of that offseason. And they got Trent Grisham on top of that, right? So, I think if Dominguez, if Dominguez wasn't hurt, right? If Dominguez wasn't hurt, maybe the Alex Verdugo trade wouldn't have gone down. I still think the Yankees obviously would have gone after Juan Soto. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But, Verdugo was probably not going to be a thing. But even if Dominguez did get, did make the opening day roster, are we sure that he would have been a big contributor? Are we sure that he would have contributed big time during that season? I know we had that short sample size of Dominguez during the 23 season, as Ken was pointing out. Dominguez hit his homer against an aging Justin Verlander. If you look at Verlander's 2023 numbers, they are and I understand that. But that, this was something that, fans got, super excited about. And, it was something that fans were looking forward to. Right. And we got Acevedo in the building. What up, Acevedo? Jacob Frederick is in the building. To answer this question right here, I'm gonna stream as many games as I possibly can. I'll say it like that. And we got Pasty in the building. What's up, Pasty? He says, what did Cash say? He 100% needs to cook in the minors. Got brought up too fast. Metric said he never left the ground in outfield. You can't do that. Yeah. I mean, look, I think Dominguez starting the season in AAA, I think is the right decision. All right. I think it's the correct decision. I think it's only right that he starts the season off at AAA because one, he gets more playing time, right? He gets more playing time. He gets more reps. He gets to have an opportunity to improve on the right side of the plate, right? Because him against lefty, him against lefties, he's not good against lefty pitching. We know that, but he needs more reps. He needs more at bats, and I think it'll be perfect for him to get those everyday at bats against lefty pitching in the minors. All right, defensively, he does need to improve his routes to these pop-ups, these flyouts. I mean, it does make me nervous, right? And he also admitted that defensively he does need to make improvements, and I'm all for it. All right. And I'm all for it. I know a lot of fans really want to see him play. I mean, I want to see him play. But the guys that are on the roster right now, those guys, and I'm talking about Grisham, Judge, and Bellinger, it's going to be really hard for Dominguez to get any playing time over these guys. Last year especially, because you definitely weren't going to get any more playing time than Judge. There's no way of that happening. Bellinger, absolutely not, right? So you have those two guys in the outfield, and then you got Trent Grisham, which Trent Grisham last year, what I certainly didn't expect him. I certainly did not expect him to have the season that he did, but he did it. I mean, he had a great season, and it was hard to bench him, right? I mean, it was hard to bench Grisham, and Grisham again had a great 2025. He also defensively is a better outfielder than Dominguez. Let's be honest here, right? So it was hard to sit any of those guys for any of the guys that I just mentioned. Right. It was hard to sit Dominguez or Judge. It was hard to sit Grisham. It was hard to sit, Cody Bellinger and play Dominguez. This is just my opinion. I know there's folks out there that are gonna disagree, but this is the way I feel about it. Right. Let's get the comments here. So Acevedo says, but Anthony Roman wasn't good against lefties in the minors or majors because the same thing, no consistent. And Cora said he was getting those reps in the major and ended up with a. Well, I understand Roman Anthony may have not been good in the minors, but let's see how he does. Let's see how he does this year. And Dominguez and Roman Anthony, I mean, they're going to be two different players. No two players are going to be the same either. But, if they don't get the reps, they won't get better. But again, this goes back to what I was saying. If the guys that are in front of him are playing better, it's going to be hard for him to get those reps at the major league level. Right? I mean, that's my thought on it. Ken says the media hyped Dominguez beyond and other players in Yankee history. He has a 10-game sample size in 23 and 24 injuries in another subpar season. In 2025, he was the left field starter. Yeah, and he started in a lot of games. He had a lot of plate appearances, but once again, the other guys that I'm talking about with Bellinger, with Grisham, with Judge, they were better. Right? I mean, especially Grisham. I wasn't expecting him to have the season that he did. You can't play him in center field in the minors, expect him to learn play left field in the majors. That's just utter stupidity. And that part I didn't understand. But the problem is the Yankees don't view him as a center fielder. That's the problem. So the Yankees are just going to strictly keep him playing left field, and hopefully he gets better playing left field. It's just the Yankees organization doesn't like him as a center fielder. So, I don't know what to make of that. The Yankees will reveal soon who's going to stay between JD and Jones. Just watch who plays center field in AAA. Jones will outplay JD in AAA with an OPS. I mean, Jones is a better center fielder. There's no doubt. He's a better defender than Dominguez is. So there's no doubt about that. I mean, Jones is a solid defender. Jones's biggest problem is it's his bat. And when I say his bat, it's because the guy, he strikes out a lot. His strikeout percentage is still pretty high. Right. And, Jones, too, at this very moment, it sounds, I don't know what the future holds for him, but, it sounds like, he's going to be in AAA, which begs the question, who's going to be the fourth outfielder? Is there going to be a battle there between Jones and Dominguez? We'll have to wait and see. But, I think Dominguez has the experience. Certainly has the experience over Jones, but we know Jones could play. We know Jones could play center field. He's a better defender than Dominguez is. So he's really good with the glove. Ken says Dominguez lost starting spot at 25. He didn't outperform. No, he didn't. And this was what I'm saying, Ken. He didn't outperform those guys. Those guys. You always want to play the guys that are good. And all three of those guys were playing a lot better than Dominguez. So it's hard to bench any of those guys for Dominguez. It is. All right. Jones is the future center fielder. I hope so. I mean, we know Grisham is on a 1-year contract. So what is the future of center field? Right. I love to see Jones take over. No doubt. And Pacey says if you can't play left field, there's no way you can play center field in Yankee Stadium. And that's what I'm saying. So, the Yankees don't like Jones being a center fielder. They don't. Yeah, I know. Listen, Judge also was a guy that, he had a high strikeout percentage. Eventually, he got better. I think Jones, I 100% agree. Jones will figure it out. I think he will. The organization, I mean, they had opportunities to trade him, but they never did. And they have their reasons. Martian just needs full-time develop. If it's AAA, then so be it. I'm with it. Yes. Yeah. I think, my thing is I know he'll be fine with the bat. I just want him to get better defensively. That's my main thing with Dominguez. I want him to get better defensively. And once again, he has acknowledged that. Yeah, I mean, Dominguez, and I mentioned this earlier too, Ken. He certainly did not do himself any favors in a winter ball. All right. The offensive numbers were way below. If I'm not mistaken, I think they were below 200. Right. So, that's that's all you need to know right there. That's all you need to know. Felix Nunez, what's up, man? Long time no see. Says, I see Dominguez being a 300 hitter with 25 homers, all-star in the future. We will regret giving up on him. I don't think the Yankees necessarily have given up on him. I really don't think the Yankees gave up on him. I don't see if the Yankees had really given up on him, I don't think they would have ever given him a shot to come up to the major league level. I don't think they gave up on him, but they just don't like what they're seeing so far. What the future holds for Dominguez, I mean, who knows? I mean, again, I know Cashman already said, Cashman said that, yeah, he's going to start the season out in AAA, but he also did say that, you never know what's going to happen. things could play out differently. Some injuries do occur, as you all know. I mean, injuries are inevitable. Maybe, if there's an injury on the roster, that's where Dominguez could get called up. If there's a major injury, right, maybe he gets more playing time at the major league level. I mean, let's hope not, right? But it's just, in sports, baseball, in this case, I mean, injuries are a dime a dozen. It sucks, but it's part of the sport. We're pretty used to it by now. Felix says Doming Hoax is another long line of overrated super prospects by Cashman. Has lesser trade value now than 2 years ago. I mean, overrated. I don't know about overrated. I think it's the media that does a lot of these overhypes on a lot of these prospects. It's a lot of the fans too. A lot of the fan base does this stuff too. I mean, I remember some of the fan base was comparing, Dominguez to Mickey Mantle, which I think is kind of a ridiculous comparison to make. I particularly don't like these comparisons, but when you set the bar with these high expectations, man, it's like, if it doesn't meet those expectations, I mean, fans are going to be pissed. You're almost setting yourself up for failure. All right. Yeah, Jones and Dominguez are 5-tool players. Jones will cut down to strikeouts, and Dominguez will learn to play left field. He'll be fine. I agree. He just needs those reps. He just needs those reps. I don't think he's another Peraza or anything. He has a good baseline card in the minors, but can it? Well, and that's the biggest thing with the whole. I mean, we could talk about Peraza, but yeah, as far as the whole Peraza thing goes, I don't mean to. I know I'm going to probably annoy some people with this, but Volpe beat Peraza out for the shortstop position. He did. He won it straight out. It was Peraza's position to take, but Volpe played better. Unfortunately, Volpe's stuff didn't exactly translate well so far at the major league level. I know the Yankees still have hopes for him. I hope he can. I hope he can turn it around. We'll see. I don't know. So, but as far as Dominguez goes, I don't think they're giving him the Peraza treatment. I don't truly believe that. I think they want him to improve. I think they want him to excel at every level possible. Seth Brown is probably the opening day 4th outfielder. Yeah, Yankees got so many players. I forgot about Seth Brown, which is funny, but yeah, he could be lefty bat. Just kind of looking up his numbers right now. I mean, from a few seasons, and not great numbers, but I mean, if he's going to be a 4th outfielder, then so be it. But yeah, Seth Brown could be that guy. But here's the thing. All right, it's like I was saying with Dominguez. All right, I'm probably going to cut this live stream a little shorter than usual. I know usually I go on for for an hour, but I'm going to kind of cut it a little bit short for tonight. But next time I go live, we'll go live a little longer. My whole thing with Dominguez is this, and looking at the poll, it seems like most of you are saying that 73% of you are saying that Dominguez should start the season in the minors, and I'm with it. I'm with Dominguez getting more playing time in the minors instead of him riding the bench and getting inconsistent playing time at the major league level. I'd rather, I don't want him playing twice a day or twice a week during the regular season. I would much rather have him get those everyday reps at the minor league level. And again, this gives him time to improve at the plate, and this gives him time to improve defensively. All right, I think at the plate, I think he has all the potential in the world, but defensively, he does need to play better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Bill O says Peraza and Vivas were a joke. If we didn't get rid of Durbin in the Williams deal, we wouldn't have the problems we had in the infield last year. Yeah, but but with the whole Durbin thing, I didn't want to see him go there, Bill. But at the time, they got Devin Williams. At the time, it was a good idea. At the time, we got Devin Williams, who was supposed to be the closer for the Yankees, right? Who was supposed to be the 1-2 punch with Luke Weaver. Unfortunately, it just didn't work out. So at the time, it was a good trade. I mean, hindsight's 2020, though, right? Hindsight's 2020. But at the time, it was a good trade. But when you look at it, you almost wish you wish the trade didn't go down. But who was to say that Williams was going to perform the way he did? None of us could have predicted that. None of us could have predicted that. But Williams is gone. He's gone. He's not with the Yankees no more. So we could say bye-bye. We already said bye-bye to him. Durbin now is with the Red Sox. So got to wonder how he does with Boston. Ken brings up funny thing about Jones and his K rate. He had a 35% K rate, but still had a OPS of 931. Stanton McMahon has 39% K rates last season. Yeah, listen, I get where you're coming from, Ken, especially with Stanton, right? I mean, Stanton, is a player that strikes out a lot. So is Ryan McMahon. It's like 39%. It's still unacceptable. It's still unacceptable. I don't like the high K rates, but if these guys are also being productive in other at bats, right, in more at bats, then sign me up. I mean, the guy that really needs to step up is McMahon. McMahon certainly has to step up at the plate. Defensively, he's great glove, big upgrade at third base, but those strikeout percentages still need to come down regardless. I mean, I love the high OPS numbers on guys like Jones and Stanton, but the strikeouts need to come down. It's as simple as that. Yeah, and there are worse strikeout rates in the lineup that can't even get on base, and those are the guys that absolutely need to improve. Yeah, I mean his K rate, his strikeout rate is high. His strikeout rate is high. There's no denying it, but still his bat is still phenomenal. He's got a lot of power. Why are you guys so in love with an outfield who's 5'8"? You should have been playing second base or catcher. He's not it. You talking about Dominguez there, VL? Like I said, I like Dominguez. I do like Dominguez, and I want him to improve, get his everyday reps. But I like the team better, and whichever player is going to help serve the team now, that's who I want. Waldo Cabrera, he's going to be available too. Yeah, Oswaldo Cabrera. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think there was talks of him starting in the minors too, which I don't know if that would be like a short-term thing, but I understand it. Let's see, we'll see what the opening day roster looks like for the Yankees. I'm curious to see what the roster looks like. Yeah, Uncle Ted. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Jones could play defense. Martian. Defensively, it's not defensively. He's not great, but it's an area that he needs to improve. Judge had a 28.5% K rate in the minors. This is what I'm saying. Like Judge had, when he started out, he was striking out a lot. He's cut down quite a bit. He's gotten a lot better. There's no doubt. But a lot of times when we talk about Judge, when we talk about Stanton, when we're talking about Spencer Jones, these guys are going to strike out a lot. There are a lot of these power bats. They do strike out a lot. There's no doubt. It's like Pasty was saying, they have a higher K rate. It's on par for the course, right? I mean, Barry Bonds is another example. He was big, power bat, struck out a lot. Mark McGwire was another one, right? Power bats typically do strike. Their strikeout rate is going to be a lot higher. You got Cabby and Rosario. There's only so many spots on the team, right? That the bench as of right now, Bill, is you're probably looking at Caballero. Although Caballero is going to start the season, he's going to be your starting shortstop. When Volpe comes back, does he automatically take over? Unless if Caballero can impress, which I think he can. I think he will, because he's a guy that can get on base. He's pesky at the plate. Give me 1 second here, folks. Hold on. Sorry about that, folks. I was just having some family call me down, so I'll probably wrap it up here pretty soon. So apologize for walking away, but yeah, like I was saying, a lot of these power bats, they're gonna have high strikeout rates. And going back to what Bill was saying, you got Cabby and Rosario. There's only so many spots on the team. I mean, Caballero is going to be your starting shortstop, right? As far as the bench goes, I mean, you're going to have JC Escara. As of right now, he's probably going to be your backup catcher, unless the Yankees say otherwise. Paul Goldschmidt's going to be your other guy. Ahmed Rosario. So, and whoever the fourth outfielder is going to be. So, Spencer Jones had an 80% bat speed last year. That's the same as Stanton. O'Neal Cruz. There's a lot of potential there. 100%. I agree, man. Spencer Jones has all the potential in the world. All the potential in the world. So we'll see what happens. The challenge of the pitchers this year, you're going to see a huge difference in how many times Judge and Stanton strike out. This is true, but I think they only allow a certain number of challenges. So I think they're only going to allow like 3 challenges per game. We can't forget Oswaldo. Yeah. What up, Dev? How's it going? What's going on? Shout out to Dev being a member for 21 months. Got some loyal members, man. I love it. Well, anyway, folks, I am going to wrap it up here. Like I said, I know usually I go live a little bit for a little longer, but I'm probably just going to wrap it up here this time because I do have to get going. But I wanted to go live just to talk about this. I wanted to get everybody's thoughts on this. And I'll end the poll here too. Looks like I got 30 votes. So 73% of you said that Dominguez should start in the minors. So most of you agree that he should start in the minors. And I agree with that. So, it's 2 per game. Okay, I thought it was 3, but yeah, those 2, man, you better pick them carefully then. You better challenge the ones carefully. But anyway, folks, I'll see you all later. All right. Thank you for tuning in. As always, thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to all the members. The regular season's right around the corner. Thank you all very much We'll go live again, and like I said, I'll try and go. I'll try and go live during the spring training games. All right, so just be on the lookout for that. Thank you all so much. Make sure you all hit the like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Let's continue growing this channel. Share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. And enjoy your Sunday. I'll see you all next time. And as always, let's go Yankees.